Welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and coming up on today's show, what moves can the Texans still make to improve this roster? My guy, Mr. Caserio right here. What can he do to ensure this team is ready to go? Well, I'm going to tell you the best free agents out there on the market, who the Texans could possibly look at, and some guys who are, possibly hitting up the Texans on social media saying, hey, I'm ready. Hey, I am fit and ready to help this team out. That coming later on in today's show. But I want to know, if you're a real fan, only the real fans of the Houston Texans stand up and like today's video. Because I've seen so much negativity. I've seen so much, this season's over. Oh my God, the Texans, they better pack it up. I know that I've been down on this team, and I know that I've said a lot of things about, this Texans team needs to step up. This is do or die for the Texans. But in all reality, the Texans have a clear path to the playoffs with the AFC South Championship. If we can make it to the playoffs, all we got to do is win a game. All we got to do is beat that opponent on the other side, and we're going to the AFC Championship game. We're going to the divisional round. We are steps away from the Super Bowl because we are going to make it into the playoffs this season if this team can do what they need to do. So if you are still behind this team no matter what, if you still root for the Houston Texans, if you still bleed battle red, go down and like today's video because I've seen too much negativity and I've seen too much hate around this team. I want to get back into the winning ways, and I want to get back to supporting our guys on the field. First, looking at some free agents. I want to look at some wide receiver options for the Houston Texans. And reminder, it's midway through the season, and these are free agents, so the names aren't going to be absolutely amazing. The ones I've kind of picked out of the crowd, Michael Thomas, Hunter Renfrow, Chase Claypool, Denzel Mims, Jamal Agnew, Byron Pringle, Richie James, Corey Davis. Those are some names that just kind of jumped off the page for me. One guy that I would consider that I think is one of the better names on that list is Byron Pringle. Last year with the Washington Commanders, 14 receptions, 161 yards. Decent option. Played with Patrick Mahomes a ton in Kansas City. I think could be a good option as a lower level signing for this team. I don't think you need to go out and be trying to find or trying to sign a wide receiver one, because there's not one out there, and two, because you have Nico Collins coming back, and Tank Dell has looked really good. But if you absolutely need to sign somebody, I would look at maybe a Byron Pringle or maybe a Chase Claypool, who I think it hasn't happened yet, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but Chase Claypool gives me total vibes of somebody who's going to turn into a tight end type wide receiver. He's a little bit bigger. We've seen it with like Kelvin Benjamin, many other wide receivers in the past where they come back and they play a little bit of a tight end role as well. Texans kind of weak at that position. So I could see them maybe signing a guy like Chase Claypool and he plays a tight end big slot role for the Texans if they absolutely need another receiving option. I want to know from you though, do the Texans need to add another receiver? Because we have Xavier Hutchinson, who a lot of Texans fans are really high on. Obviously, the coaching staff is really high on. They released Noah Brown before the start of the season. John Mechie, Robert Woods, all names of guys who this Texans team does trust, and you have Tank Dell and Nico Collins. So let me know down in the comments section, if you were making the moves, would you have the Texans add another receiver? Go down, give me a yes, give me a no. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. You get hit with the YouTube ad break, perfect timing. Scroll on down, give me your answer. After the ad plays, I'll tell you what I would do. No. I don't think so. I don't really see the value of adding another receiver. I mean, maybe, like I said, if you want a bigger guy like Chase Claypool, be that big slot / tight end role. But with the Texans right now, I don't think that's even close to their biggest need on this offense. I would say the biggest need still is the offensive line. So I turn my attention to the free agent offensive linemen. We have David Bakhtiari, DJ Humphries, Phil Haynes, Halapoulivaati Vaitai, Tyre Phillips, Trai Turner, La'el Collins, Ike Boettger, Mason Cole, and Jesse Davis. All guys who are available for this team. And for Vaitai, Big V, I'm not going to say his first name again because I can only do it once correctly during a video. Big V, he has a lot of experience in the NFL. He's dealt with some injury issues, but remember, he was part of a Super Bowl team with the Philadelphia Eagles. He gives you a little bit of inside-out flexibility, playing guard, playing tackle. Bigger guy, smart guy, played a lot with Jason Kelsey, so I think he would be able to slot in to a guard position if needed, if the Texans were to sign him off the streets. Another guy who has a little bit of versatility as well is Mason Cole. Plays a little center, can play guard as well. Played for the Pittsburgh Steelers last season, 17 games played, 2 sacks allowed. I didn't think he actually played horribly. I mean, he wasn't great, but I don't think he was absolutely horrendous with his time in Pittsburgh, but has still not signed with the team. So could be another option if the Texans are looking to sign an interior offensive lineman. Just some guys to take a look at. I know the Texans have claimed some guys off of waivers. They've also signed some guys to the practice squad, but that doesn't work, which I don't know how that wouldn't work, signing guys to the practice squad and off waivers. I mean, that seems like a foolproof plan to me. But if that doesn't work, maybe you can sign one of these guys and help bolster that unit. I have some defensive guys that I'm going to tell you about in just a moment, but got to tell you about today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Well, you can make some real money if you know what you're talking about. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks. With as little as 4 correct picks, you can turn $10 into $1,000. And, you know, I'm talking about Taco Tuesday. That's a special that they have over on Prize Picks right now. They have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They have his projection discounted to 23.5 points. Not too shabby. Not too shabby if you ask me. The Rockets, I'm looking at their game Wednesday up against the Spurs. Alperen Sengun, 18 points. We think more? We think less. I mean, he's been balling out this year ever since that contract extension. You can also go more or less on my guy Fred VanVleet with 1.5 steals. They have Jabari Smith Jr., 21.5 points, rebounds, assists. They have Jalen Green, 23.5 points. So if you're feeling good about the Rockets, maybe you're feeling good about the Texans this weekend, go ahead and put your money where your mouth is over on Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Now, looking at the defensive line as some more options if you're looking in free agency, you'll see a lot of familiar names. And to be honest with you, there's not a ton of defensive linemen that are out there that are some really good options for the Texans right now. You have Rasheem Green, Malik Fisher, Hassan Ridgeway, all guys who have been with the Texans prior, and Mike Purcell, another veteran defensive tackle guy. All these guys could be options, but come on, let's be realistic. The Texans just traded away a guy for a bag of chips to the 49ers, the defensive tackle. So are they really looking to add defensive line right now? I feel like they feel pretty good with DeMeco Ryans, Mario Edwards Jr. going to be coming back from suspension. They were like, Khalil Davis, yeah, we'll take that washing machine over there for him. I don't think they're really going to sign a defensive lineman in free agency. Maybe claim somebody off waivers if there's a really good player that they feel like they can snag. Let's look at some, and maybe the most likely options for the Texans to sign. And I think that could be a defensive back because there's some pretty good names out there that are still available in free agency. And one in particular that I think has been kind of thirst trapping the Texans on Twitter lately is Xavien Howard. He's been a guy that has been posting workout videos, been like, I'm ready. Put me in, coach. He's talked about in the offseason. He would love to play with the Houston Texans. He sees himself a really good fit with the Texans. I know the Texans have Kamari Laster. They have Derek Stingley, who played really well. But the depth at corner really isn't there. And if they really want to bolster this unit and make it a really, really good cornerback room, I think it's worth looking into Xavien Howard. Maybe you don't want to sign him. Maybe you want to look at a guy like Patrick Peterson, Chandon Sullivan, Jawan Williams, Micah Hyde, or Ryan Neal. Those are all other really good options. And I know Jimmy Ward coming back from injury. He's been off injured during the past 2 years. I believe the stat is he's only really played in 14 games over the past 2 seasons for the Houston Texans. Ryan Neal with the Buccaneers last year, 76 tackles, 4 tackles for loss. He's another guy where it's kind of a question mark of why is he still a free agent right now? I think he could be a decent option if the Texans want to add to the safety room. Same with Micah Hyde. 2 guys, veteran guys who could add something to this defensive unit for the Houston Texans. Now, that's all I have for you on today's video. If you made it to the end, you're a real one. Two things. Make sure you're subscribed because, hey, you made it to the end of the video, so we must be doing something right, right? So go make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you made it to the end. Go spam those H's in the comment section so I can show you love down below. Thank you for watching today's video, and until next time, have a great day.